had a monster game 1, and he has arrived again here in game 2.
They were the aggressor in the first half. They were much more physical in the first half.
I like the tone that we set early in the game.
Fires it across. Good ball movement here by Portland, and it's Rodney Hood who buries the 3. Cantor met Plumlee at the rim. A block for Cantor. Aminu's going all the way. He's fouled. Count that. Al-Farouq Aminu and 1. And Aminu puts him up 16.
Tonight, I think it was just a much better team game. You know, we had so many guys involved. I think when you play that way, it leads to more guys touching the ball, and you know, you get that type of result.
They didn't even play that good, to be honest. I mean, they can play really, better than that.
Here's Dane. He crossed over, drive, bounce to Cantor. He goes up, the reverse is up and in.
Collins on the drive, off the glass, went around Plumlee, avoided the block.
Dave dribbles 5 to shoot. Drives, close low, throws it in the corner. 3-pointer from Hood, buries it from the corner. And the Blazers back in front by 10.
And the Portland Trailblazers even up this series at 1 apiece.
I mean, it's a playoff. We want to win, they want to win. I think it's a normal thing.
Our goal is to just take it one game at a time and protect our home floor.
Gotta make shots to win games in the playoffs, and a mile-high difference indeed. Look at the percentages, especially from 3, where they were so dangerous in game 1, which opened things up to a high level offensively, and then you think about where they were in game number 2. You know, I want to kind of combine the 2 conversations we had, because you talk about, you know, at home for a star like Kyrie versus on the road. Difference at home is you figure the others, the supporting cast, normally will play better and shoot better. I get worried when you're shooting 20% with that cast on the home floor, and now you go on the road, where it's not supposed to be any easier.
Yeah, sometimes, and oftentimes in the NBA, particularly in the playoffs, it's harder for younger teams to defend home court because there's much more pressure for you to win at home, and it's almost expected for you to lose on the road. So you're a little bit more comfortable out on the road, and the pressure is really on the home team to defend. Now, veteran playoff teams, they're comfortable with defending home court, and they may not play as well at home, but they will win the basketball game a la Golden State up 2-0 right now. You're looking at a Denver as a young team. They may play better out on the road than they have at home in these first 2 games.
A little freer necessarily, not, and
yes.
Plus all the tickets you gave out to family and friends and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. B-Wood, when you look at Jokic, we saw him, which was a question during the season, answer them all with the aggressive nature of his play in the end, in the closeout game in Game 7 in the last series, and then in Game 1. What did you see from him in Game number 2 that you might tweak a little bit here into Game number 3, if anything?
Well, I wouldn't tweak anything. He didn't make shots. He missed a lot of close shots around the basket. He wasn't alone. When you look at this Denver team, they had 23 offensive rebounds. Zeke, when you get 23 offensive rebounds, you normally win that game. But the reason they had so many offensive rebounds was because they missed so many easy shots. So when you look at a guy like the Joker, you know he's going to play well. I wouldn't do anything different because they use him all over the court. There's no need to change your strategy because it's not like they just use him in one area. They use him at the top of the key. They use him on the block, the mid-post, elbow catches, dribble handoffs. That's the versatility, and that's what makes his game so unique is that he's a movable chess piece, and you can use him actually everywhere. And he's a big man that out-assists a lot of point guards in this league. Like, we talk about...
Why you say that with pride?
Because I'm happy. I'm happy to see bigs getting more assists than some of these guards.
You said it like no. He said it and he looked down at me like and he assists little point guards.
It's a new day and age. Man, the big man can do a lot of different things that they couldn't do or weren't allowed to do when I was playing. Like when you look at a guy like the Joker, he averages more assists than guys like Kemba Walker, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving. So you know he can pass the ball. So that's going back to my point is. He's a threat everywhere because he does everything. And he does everything well.
Let's go to Portland because we've been having this conversation here at this desk for years about, okay, we know about the guards. Who else was going to ... That's why the Nurkic injury hurt so badly because you knew the impact he could make as that third guy, which is what makes it, I think, so impactful what Rodney Hood and Enes Kanter have done in different ways. Start with Hood, who, look, a year ago, revisionist history, the Cavaliers waited way too long, I don't care what he said or did on the bench, to get him who can get his own basket in the game. What kind of impact does Hood have?
I mean, great great pickup by Neil Young, the GM, in terms of picking up Cantor and also picking up
Rodney Hood.
Now, Rodney as a lefty can get his own shot, is very aggressive, but he complements the two guards so well because he's a lefty and because he can go and get his own shot. So it used to be when you took McCollum or Lillard out of the game, it was just a one-man band. But now they still have that two-pronged attack when Hood is in the game, but also when you bring in Cantor now, who can play in the low post, who can score you some baskets, who can get energy. I like what Portland has done. I like the way they're playing. And as Jokic said the other night, neither team played well. But when you don't play well and win a playoff game on the road, that gives you a lot of confidence. And, Hood was a big part of that.
You hear the teammates, and we saw Dame at the end of the last series up with Cantor. You hear them talking about him. And you can tell the respect level they have because they know he's not near 100%. For the grind, the dog, the work, and the way he is putting in effort that's helped supplant some of that Jokic loss. How big has Cantor been? Or are you surprised to see so much impact from Enes?
Yeah, he's really stepped in well for Nurkic, and he's done an excellent job. I was really looking forward to seeing both of those guys because they give you a unique perspective. When you take out one big that can score, you come right back with another. But Cantor has filled in quite well. He's done an excellent job. He's stepped up in big games in both series. He's had his impact, and he's shown what he can do. And it's amazing how copycat this league is, and how quickly a lot of teams gave up on Enes Kanter. Oh, he doesn't fit in with this new wave of big men. Well, guess what? It's sometimes not about what you can't do, it's what you can do. That's why I give Portland credit. They're highlighting what Cantor can do. He rebounds the ball well, he scores the ball well individually in the mid-post and on the block, and they're using those things, and they actually need that. It's like it goes back to your point. They needed somebody else that could score the ball besides Dame and CJ. They found that out last year in the playoffs. They added Hood. They added Cantor. These guys are paying big-time dividends. And then let's not forget about the young fella. Zach Collins is growing up right before our eyes also.
Yeah, yes, he is.
The other thing is, I would feel really good if I'm a Portland fan, and maybe not so good playing them. The fact that we've seen full games out of C.J. McCollum where, like, he's on fire. I mean, old school NBA Jam style, just putting in tons of points. And we saw a really good game, too. We saw, after a terrible game, 2 huge shots in that final game against Oklahoma City. But Zeke, he hasn't really truly gotten off yet. We haven't seen one of these games where Lillard gets 48 and McCollum gets 40. I kind of like where that sits, right, if you're Portland now.
And that's what's so encouraging about what they've done in terms of going to Denver and winning a game, is because those two haven't really, caught fire yet, and we know they can ignite. However, McCollum hit a huge shot, in Denver when he got an offensive rebound, dribbled back out to the 3. I think Denver had cut it to 5 or 7. He dribbles out to the 3, knocks down the 3, pushes it back to 9 or 10, gives them comfort, and then they roll on to the win. So those two are capable of making big shots, but they all play so well together. And he and Lillard play so well together. And over the years, what we've seen, when you have two guys like that on the same team, we've seen some dissension, and we've seen some bite back. Yeah, that thing.
Backbiting?
Yeah,
backbiting.
Yeah.
I know I was gonna get it eventually.
But those two, you got to give them credit. Over the years, they've stayed together, and they haven't competed against each other, but they've been complementary to each other. So I give Lillard a lot of credit for that, but I also give McCollum credit for also being a good teammate too.
I want to hit the other side if I can, because Jokic was so dominant, B-Wood, in the end of the last series. He's really put up a lot of points, but we know they need to make big shots. They've got big shot makers when you look at Murray and Gary Harris in that backcourt. How much do they need to be a factor, even if it's not in a total of the quantity, in the quality in a fourth quarter tonight to get a win on the road?
Well, it's on the road. You need everybody. You definitely going to need their young backcourt. I'm not sure how healthy Murray is. He looked a little gimpy at the end of last game, but hopefully he can recover, because they're going to need him. They're going to need Murray. What we've seen in the playoffs is this team kind of goes as he goes. When he has big-time games and he plays well, the team kind of plays well. So hopefully Murray will be healthy. He can go out there and have a big-time game. Gary Harris is one of the better underrated two-way players we have in this league that goes out there and really, really tries hard to defend, but can knock down shots and can make plays also. So this is a young backcourt that is budding, and I think in a couple of years, 2 to 3 more years, we'll be mentioning them with the elite backcourts. But right now, they're trying to grow up right before our eyes in these playoffs, and they're going to have a big-time game tonight.
And they got 2 backups behind them in terms of Morris and Beasley that are really good also.
Morris.
I mean,
I love Morris.
I mean, Morris and Beasley. I mean, those 2 guys, they're good players. Also.
Morris, that old school traditional setup point guard.
Yeah, I mean,
now he's trying to just make you feel better because of what he said before.
I gotta show some love. I gotta show some love to the point guard.
He from Flint, Michigan, so he got a little bad boy in him.
Okay.
Did you mention point guards? Because the next team we're going to talk about needs a bad boy in them, like in the room at the point guard position.
Where?
Because they got that Devin Booker guy. Somebody got to get him the ball. That will be one of the many decisions for James Jones. He already made the biggest one. We'll talk to him, break down the Suns' future next.